Imagine for a moment you want to change your pronunciation in English. Let's say that you want to do this because you go into work and you make a phone call and the person on the end of the line says, "Sorry, could you repeat that?" Or you go to meet a friend and they introduce you to someone new and they say, "Oh, where are you from?" Or you're at home and you try to speak in a new way and your family or partner says, "Why are you putting on that voice? You sound silly." This causes you to become self-conscious or frustrated or unconfident to the point where you start avoiding certain difficult words or avoiding certain situations or not going for certain opportunities. And when I say you, what I really mean is me, because I used to speak with a very strong regional accent, and for personal reasons, I wanted to change. Some people change their hairstyle, some people change the way they dress. I wanted to change the way I spoke. But in order to understand the way I felt and why I wanted to change, I had to learn more about why we speak the way we speak. Whatever the language, it all starts the same way. We have to have a trigger, which, as a child, is the need to be understood so that we can get what we want: food, drink, or a favourite toy. To do that, we watch and listen to our parents or carers and imitate the sound they make. We then practice this over and over until one day we get it right and bam! We communicate ourselves, and pronunciation is established. But the story doesn't finish there, because as we get older, yes, that's me at 18, don't laugh, we are exposed to other people, teachers, friends, relationships, colleagues, bosses, and as we figure out our identity, we change the way we speak to fit in with others, to feel valued and feel part of a community. And we know this because studies suggest that the way we speak is a tribal thing. And it's this last part that's crucial because it drives the habit of pronunciation, the reward of feeling valued in a community. But often, as we get older, that wonderfully flexible idea of identity gets restricted. We start to get put in boxes or categories which we don't feel we belong in. Perhaps that sounds familiar. And for me, I felt stuck in this box because I sounded different and I wanted to get out. So, I had the trigger, the need to communicate. I was already around the community in which I wanted to feel a valued member, but it was my habitual, routine, everyday pronunciation that was stopping me from getting what I wanted. So I started watching videos, this was before YouTube, listening to audio clips, I bought books and did training courses to learn a standard British English accent, but nothing helped. Other people in the courses were storming ahead and making changes, but I just couldn't get it. It was then that I made the biggest mistake of all, to feel like it was just me, it was all my fault. Perhaps you felt the same way. You find a learning resource, perhaps a free video, or you buy a British English pronunciation book or an online training program, and it gives you a super clear idea of how to pronounce a particular sound. Lip and tongue positions, descriptions, audio. Surely that's enough for you to get it. And if you don't, it must be your bad ear or your age, right? That's how I felt. But eventually, I realized it was completely wrong. I discovered what was really holding me back, and it could be holding you back too. You see, I was so focused on the result, the final destination, that for a long time I hadn't considered what my starting point was. In other words, what were my habits, and how was I to get from there to where I wanted to be? For each single habit, I had an incomplete map. The resources I was using gave me a clear description of each sound, but didn't help me discover my own personal speech habits. I knew what the end point looked and sounded like, but no one was giving me my exact location on the map, let alone the best route to take from that point to my chosen destination. No wonder that so many people struggle with this. They know that they sound different, but they don't know exactly what those differences are. Especially if English is your second or third language. Some of these sounds don't even exist in your mother tongue. But most of you were probably taught by a non-native language tutor who may have been a brilliant language tutor, but they themselves struggled with pronunciation. So how are you to spot those differences? For me, what I realised was that I needed a unique reference for the way I wanted to speak. As a child, it was my mother and father, whereas now, part of the problem was that I was jumping from one source to the next. So I decided to fix my destination on one single reference on whom I could base my listening and imitation just as I had done as a child. I then began recording myself and listening back and comparing it to this unique reference. It took a lot of work, but I finally figured out the specific differences in pronunciation and intonation. It was an epiphany. I had found my own personal roadmap. I felt such confidence and power just by knowing precisely where to start and what my specific route would be. Now I had that, I practiced word by word and sentence by sentence. And then I had to find the courage to open my mouth and speak in front of the people in this community. But once I did, and I did it a few times, it worked. Each time I had a small success in conversation with a particular sound or word that I'd been practicing, I was getting that reward I wanted. And in terms of effective learning, this feeling was flooding my brain with reward chemicals, which reinforced those new habits even further. The new pronunciation was blossoming. So, what are your pronunciation habits? Is there a community in which you want to feel integrated and valued? Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a native speaker, whereas you might speak English as a second language. But let me tell you the truth. Habits are habits are habits. They may have their roots in different sources, but they are as changeable as mine. And I can say this because for over 10 years I've been helping so many people just like you to feel more like a valued member of a community. So, here's what I've done just for you. I have taken all the lessons from my personal story, all the training and knowledge I gained from my master's degree in voice, and over a decade of hands-on practical experience and insight from a professional career coaching people from across the globe, and I've distilled it into a simple, practical training to help you master clear and more confident English pronunciation. I call it British English Pronunciation Roadmap. And it can save you years of figuring out your own habits and how to change them. Let me share with you how. Firstly, and this is vital, I become your unique reference. No more scrolling through endless YouTube videos or different websites. You'll get 12 plus hours of audio of me, all in one place for you to listen to, compare yourself to, and practice with. And the great thing is you can download the audio to your phone or tablet and practice anywhere offline. Then I map out each specific part of your journey towards clear, standard British English pronunciation and intonation. You can see some live demos of this below, but stay with me and I'll reveal exactly why the roadmap is so effective and exactly how it works. Now, tell me if I'm wrong, but the TH or R or NG or the schwa are difficult sounds, right? So let's say you start with one of these. First, you'll see this icon to help you schedule your practice. Each lesson is typically 15 to 20 minutes. Then you'll see this icon, which suggests that you record yourself. Then you see this icon with a track number. Play the downloaded audio, listen and compare, and begin to hear the specific differences. I then describe a clear and simple way to know exactly where the lips and tongue should be, whether it's voiced or voiceless, and how long the sound should be. And to help, I give you clear and accurate illustrations and more audio for the sound on its own and in everyday common English words. Now this bit is really important, so listen up. Now this is where some training and videos and courses stop. They tell you how it should sound and how to make it, and that's it. Now with some sounds that might be enough, but if you're anything like me, you'll need to know what your specific habit is and how to change it. And the next step is why this training is so unique, and it's what gives the roadmap its name. It's called What Do I Do Habitually? I pinpoint the various possible differences in pronunciation and walk you through each one until you discover yours. You use the audio and clear descriptions, and once you're 100% certain of your habit, there is a coloured icon which is a signpost, and you simply find the same coloured icon in the How Do I Change My Habit section. And I give you a made-to-measure exercise to change your pronunciation with illustrations of the tongue and lip positions and audio to imitate and practice with. You simply ignore the other parts that are not relevant to you. And once you've become confident with the sound, you can practice with more words and more sentences, and there are even bonus practice pages for each sound with more opportunities to practice until the new pronunciation is established. Now for me, it felt so good to have changed those key vowel and consonant habits. But of course, without intonation, I couldn't fully express myself. So I'll take you step by step through word stress, sentence stress, pitch and rhythm, and expressing feeling and intention, and then bring it all together with some at-a-glance cheat sheets, practice conversations, and methods for integrating these new habits into live speech, until you are expressing yourself fluently and naturally in English. Now, stop there, because that was my story, and it was what I needed in order to get the reward that I was so desperate for. But what so many of my students ask for is for some personal help. Now, if that's you, I also offer a personal assessment along with the roadmap. It's my premium package. You send in a recording of yourself, I'll listen meticulously and personally assess your vowels, consonants and intonation, and then I send you a tailor-made written guide to the roadmap in which I reveal your specific pronunciation and intonation habits. I tell you which part of the training to look at and which exercises to explore, giving you a massive saving in time and effort, and a clear, bespoke pronunciation training roadmap with the most direct route for the biggest impact on your speech. Either way, once you have the roadmap and you're a part of the EPR community, I'm also going to throw in some limited bonuses. You'll have access to the virtual coach, where I have answered some of the most relevant questions from other members, and also my associate coaches and I will answer your social media posts and any burning question or confusion that you want clarified. But these bonuses are not going to be available forever. As our community grows, it may be more and more difficult for me to help everyone without charging for a full consultation. But right now, they are exclusive, completely free bonuses that are included with any of the packages below. So, imagine that you've changed your English pronunciation. Let's say that you're at work again and you're making that call. But now you're understood first time and feel much more relaxed because you're speaking with more confidence and ease. And when your friend introduces you to someone new, they're much more interested in hearing what you have to say rather than where you come from. And at home, your family or partner simply don't notice your habits anymore. It's now just part of who you are. As I said before, habits are habits are habits. So, if you want to master standard British English pronunciation so that you can speak with more clarity and more confidence, then what are you waiting for? Scroll down, choose from one of the packages below and get started on your own journey, and I'll see you on the inside.